Now, I know I'm a bit late to the party on this one. Samsung had their Galaxy Unpacked event earlier in August, and the second I laid my eyes on the Galaxy Watch 4, I was in love immediately, like just like that. I knew I had to have it. I didn't even have to know that they moved on to Wear OS from Tizen OS because the design itself was such a departure from the old Galaxy Watch and Galaxy Watch Active with just how sleek it looks, and the design itself was what sold me to pre-order one. A bit under a month later, and it's here. Now, before I get into this, I want to be clear that this is just an unboxing and first impressions video, highlighting the new features that have been introduced, and it is not a thorough, in-depth review. There are plenty of reviews that have extensively covered both models, and I'll even link some of my favorite ones in the description below. But now that that's out of the way, let's get into how I initially felt about this smartwatch. So, this isn't my first time with a Galaxy wearable. I've been wearing the Gear S3 Frontier since 2017 now, and I remember this being the earliest iteration of the Galaxy Watch you see now with the circular watch face instead of the old square ones. That said, even the packaging has changed a lot. You went from this very premium feeling packaging to just a simple box, and honestly, I'm not complaining. If they're able to fit everything the watch comes with in such a small package, I'm all for it. I do recall that they've been using this style of packaging since the Galaxy Watch 3, but I like it a lot. Less material means less waste, so good job, Samsung. The outside of the box is pretty self-explanatory. You have a photo of the product, the name printed in places, and on the back is where the little bits of info lies. Opening the box, however, you are immediately greeted with the Galaxy Watch 4 itself, and you have all the literature and the charger sitting in this half of the packaging in its own little box. And of course, the charger. Set that aside. Shifting to the watch itself, it's even nicer in person. I did get the standard Watch 4 in the 44mm size with the digital touch bezel, whereas my Gear S3 Frontier was the 46mm variant with the rotating bezel, which is akin to the Watch 4 Classic, which comes in 42 and 46mm. It is worth mentioning that the Classic is made of stainless steel, giving it some weight, and this one being made of aluminum is super light, a lot lighter than I was expecting, to be honest. I thought hard about which one to get and ultimately settled on this one because it just looked a lot cleaner. I love how much of the watch face isn't taken up by the rotating bezel you'd see on the Classic, so it's just a flat piece of glass, and while the screens are the same size between the 44 and 46mm, the 44mm gives it this illusion that there's more screen real estate because of the lack of a physical bezel. Though I will say the rotating bezel is undoubtedly the best way to navigate this watch, but you'll make do without it eventually. Samsung had already implemented this on the Galaxy Watch Active line in the previous years, and it works well. All these watches universally take a quick release 20mm watch straps as compared to the older models, which are dependent on the watch sizes, where the 46mm watches will take 22mm straps, but this time around, even the straps for the 40mm and the 46mm are entirely interchangeable. They also added extra material in this little area here, kind of just fill up the space, and because it rubs against the body of the watch, it gives it this nice continuous curve following the lug of the watch, which will look really nice if you got yourself the right size for your wrist. I heard people saying that they're not a fan of it, and in any case that you don't like it, of course you can always opt for other watch straps so long as it's a 20mm quick release strap customizable to your heart's content, honestly. Now, turning on the watch, you'll see the Galaxy Watch splash screen just like any other Samsung mobile device, and once it loads for the first time, it'll walk you through the setup, which prompts you to go to the wearable app on your phone, and from there, you'll see it when you scan for devices to add. Okay, add a new device, add, and you'll see Galaxy Watch 4 with the code on your watch to ensure that you're connecting to the right device. Click on that. It'll give you a code to double check you're connected to the right device, and once that's done, it'll download the Watch4 plugin, as it does with any other wearable device. Click confirm. And once you're connected, it'll also walk you through navigating the watch. Now swipe down from the top to open the quick panel. Swipe up to go back to the watch face. For apps, swipe up from the bottom edge. And swipe down to go back to the watch face. For notifications, swipe right. Tap to open this notification. Swipe right from the edge to go back to the previous screen. And then swipe left to go back to the watch face. So for tiles, swipe left, which are essentially your widgets. Press the home key to go to the watch face from any screen. And that's it. Despite having moved from Tizen OS to Wear OS, it still looks and feels like the previous watches because it still sports the Android's One UI user interface. Shifting from Tizen OS to Android Wear OS was the big move on Samsung's part, because back with Tizen OS, you were limited to the Galaxy Store, which is pretty limited to say the least. Android Wear OS gives you access to the Google Play Store, allowing you access to more apps. Apps you couldn't get back then, like Nike Run Club and Strava, are now available thanks to the access of Google Play Store. The OS isn't the only big upgrade these watches have had. They're also sporting 16 gigs of internal storage and 1.5 gigs of RAM, which can be used to store media files like downloaded Spotify songs. So 16 gigs is more than enough for a smartwatch. Samsung also heavily marketed the new health features on top of the existing heart rate sensor and blood oxygen sensor. These can now measure your blood pressure, get an ECG reading, and even measure your body composition with the new bioelectrical impedance analysis feature, or BIA for short. It sends small harmless pulse of electricity to measure the conductivity of your muscle, fat, and water, giving you the respective percentages as well as your BMI. You should note that you're advised against using the body composition scanning feature if you're using a pacemaker, because it's still an electrical pulse going through your body. That and your body composition scan shouldn't be used as an accurate measurement, but rather as a point of reference, but it is still a good way to track your body composition. That said, this really is an all-in-one health device with how much it can do in such a small package. And my final initial thoughts, I like it a lot. Realistically, I use a smartwatch as a secondary device for my phone to get notifications and even pick up calls if I really need to. But because of the additional health features, I might actually start frequently using it as an activity tracker. It's the most complete, well-rounded activity tracker I've used so far, but we'll see how it holds up. And with that, I'll see y'all next time.